I usually have stream open on my phone while muted
Oh, yeah.
while I'm streaming, just so I can see like the chat and stuff because I don't have multiple monitors.
Mhm.
It's nice to be able to see chat and talk with them and whatnot. Whether or
Yeah,
not
yeah.
you want to do something like that is up to you. All right, we are live, so they can hear us. So don't say anything too scandalous,
Oh,
unless you want it to be on the record.
well, exactly. But, well, I think the record stands for itself right now, so
Right,
let's see.
right.
Eh,
And they have invited me to the lobby here. I'm just kind of waiting for everyone to file in.
Alrighty, alrighty.
And let me, how do I... There we go. Can you hear that, by the way?
I cannot hear that, no.
Okay, interesting. I don't know why you can't hear that, but I don't pretend under... Streaming Chrome gets weird, but rest assured it is playing music. The captains for both teams have the exact same profile icon on the League client. That's a little confusing.
That is a little disorienting, that's for sure.
Alright, here we go. Ooh. Wow, they went with the full team names. I've never seen that before. That's just kind of wild.
That's how you know the stakes are high.
Apparently, my goodness. He even spelled it out, Hikikomori Havers. I expected his jokes to be read in Streamcaster. I don't get paid enough for that, sorry.
It's how it is sometimes. That's just how it is.
And the Beer League server has like a special thread for stream notifications that automatically go out every time someone's streaming, but there's like a delay to it, which I don't like. So sometimes I'll just do it one manually because sometimes it'll take like 10 to 15 minutes for it actually to go out. And people will miss draft, and what's the fun in that?
It's true, it's true. Especially when you get to hear all the fantastic commentary.
Exactly. See, I need to actually have chat open. That would help. See what they're complaining about. How many viewers we got already? We have. I don't know. Why does it not show a number? Oh, there we go. 8. If anybody in the Twitch stream chat can let me know if either the music is too high or too low, or if me or Mr. Feather here are too high or too low, that'd be good to know. Please complain if there's a problem.
Asking Twitch chat to complain is quite the move. Let me just say, in regards to that.
Sometimes they don't say it. Like I left the music playing and going into game 2 for like 15 minutes and no one said anything. All right, I think we're about to start here on draft for game 1.
Nice.
Here we go. Now, one advantage of actually having played all these teams myself is I actually know why they're banning what they're banning.
Oh, then that just means you're a useful resource here. So,
like for example, just looking at it already, first 2 bans for BW, Aatrox and Lilia. Those are the most well-known champ for the HH jungler and top laner. So there you go. And there you go. The Victor ban for Blitz Sprite.
So by and large, Barren Wasteland just targeting comfort picks here thus far?
Definitely, yeah. So I know all 3 of those bans are all 3 of their top mid jungle are all well known for those specific champions. So that's the problem with having a reputation in Beer League. You start getting banned out. You gotta show you have a pool so that they can't just ban your best champion every time. I'm very interested to see if either team will prio Corki here, because I know Corki is considered super busted right now. And I know we took advantage of that when we played on Sunday, as we knew. But and there we go. I'm actually kind of surprised BW didn't first pick it, but teams that have read the scouting report or read the stats, they know Corki is OP as hell right now, and they're gonna lock it in right away. Yeah, still no complaints in chat. I'm going to take that to mean that everything is fine. That's definitely what it means.
Of course. What else could it possibly be?
Nothing. No complaints equals everything's perfect. Oh shit, they started complaining once I said that. Texans versus Jets today. I mean, I'd complain about the Jets being on TV. That's sad. I would say apologies to any Jets fans in the room, but you know what you were getting into.
Yeah, you know what you're getting into, and again, when you've been supporting the Jets, like it's just facts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Cardinals fan, so I'm used to rooting for a bad team, so I'm not going to feel bad for giving other teams shit when they're bad.
But isn't it that much sweeter when they finally are successful?
Yeah, I mean, we've been to a Super Bowl a lot more recently than the Jets, that's for sure. These aren't beer league picks. These aren't unusual. These aren't champions you see in Beer League very often so far. A lot of the teams kind of tend to gravitate towards the same general pool of champions, but so far, this is very different. And it's looking like teams are mirroring each other in terms of what they're picking. Bot lane and jungle so far on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it certainly makes sense in regards to trying to like match aspects of counter picks without giving away too much stuff. On the side of Hikikomori Havers, again, obviously, if there was something that they supremely needed to prio, they could have, again, kind of kicked the support can down the road a little bit, but they didn't feel that way, and as such, just took Bard.
Yeah, no, one thing I've learned from past 3 seasons of playing in Beer League, being a top and mid laner, is that yes, you would like to hold into your pick until later, if you can, so you can kind of see more of what you're going and try to get a good matchup and whatnot. But the addition or the presence of those second round bans can kind of change that a lot. Because as I played top lane my first season, and what would often happen was like, oh, I'll hold my pick here. Wow, it's looking like a great time for that pick, and the enemy team realizes that and bans it in the second phase before I actually pick it. So they're like trying to like bait me into picking it earlier so they can counter pick it, you know. So that whole second round of bans really changes draft strategy in a way that just doesn't happen in solo queue, right?
Oh, for sure.
It took me like a whole season of Beer League to kind of like account for that and figure out how to play around it. And you gotta it's really helpful if you can flex pick something. Like on team 2 we've started, people have already figured this out, so it's not really a secret, but we've started to flex pick Morgana. So you can play her. I'm known for playing her mid. That's usually what we're playing. But we can also play it support. So we can pick it early and then decide whether or not we want it to go support or mid. And we've done both.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than just locking it in early and being committed to it. So it's helpful if you can kind of smuggle in certain picks like that in the earlier round before they get banned or stolen from you. Interesting that what the Malzahar pick for Team HH. I know that their mid is their most expensive player point wise, so I'm really surprised they stuck on Malzahar. Would have thought they would want him to be on something with a bit more agency. I do really like that Mundo pick though. I don't think there's anything on. There's nothing on BW that's particularly good at killing HP stacking. So I really like the Mundo pick, and Urgot's also a pretty safe matchup for Mundo as well. So I am a firm believer in Mundo being really OP if you can like find the games to pick it. We've been abusing that ourselves. So far, I other than the Malzahar pick, which I scratched my head on a little bit, I actually really like HH's draft a lot. So I'm gonna have to give them the edge right away, just because of that. I'm still not sure who this Malzahar is going to ult exactly, because Smolder and Twitch will be too far away unless they get caught. And Urgot and Xin Zhao, I mean, you can ult them, but do you want to? I just find that pick very strange. Maybe they just banned enough mids he didn't know what to pick. He did end up getting 3 bans towards mid lane, so maybe he just didn't know what to go for at that point.
Well, and again, you weren't sure as to who exactly was going mid, and I love that. I love the Mundo response into Urgot. Again, having played both sides of that matchup, it definitely is a very favorable Mundo. It's a favorable Mundo lane as well in regards to the aspects of this game. If they're not able to burst the Mundo will just show up back again in 8 seconds when it comes to it. On the side of Barren Wasteland, additionally, there's not a ton of AP as well, which could again also for sure incentivize HH to make sure that they just they have a little bit more of armor itemization when it comes to people like Mundo and all of that. So
yeah,
it'd be fascinating.
I do like the Smolder mid pick. I didn't really clock that until just a few seconds ago, but you can, when you're farming your Q to get your stacks, that will work on Malzahar Voidlings. So if you're saving your Q and using it properly, you'll get your stacks even faster than normal.
Mhm.
as you'll just be killing those because Malzahar Voidlings die in one hit to anything. So I like that counterpick a lot. I don't know if I like Smolder mid in general, but against Malzahar specifically, I do like that. I still do worry though, like, can they kill this Mundo? Like, I think if this game goes beyond 30 minutes, I think BW is in really big trouble, even with the Smolder and Twitch. So, but, you know, this is why they play the games, right?
Absolutely.
So you can win the draft super hard, and then you just get shit on in the actual game, and it doesn't matter at all. So I know that some teams in Beer League are definitely have more reputation for player diffing people, even with suspicious drafts. So I'm not going to name any names, but they know who they are because I've talked to them about it. But I personally think on Team 2 our draft's been really, really good, which is why we won like every game that's gone late. I think like every game that's gone above 30 minutes we've won. If we lose, it's because we lose early. So, which, you know, that just happens sometimes. But yeah, I definitely like HH here more. I like their comp other than the Malzahar, which I still think is weird. But I guess they don't have a lot of CC though, do they? I mean, they got Malzahar ulti, Rek'Sai knockup, Bard thing, Q, whatever you want to call it. I guess neither side really has a lot of CC, do they?
Well, okay. The interesting thing on the side of HH as well is, given the fact that their mid is one of their, you know, highest point players, to throw them on Malzahar again to me is interesting, especially Malzahar blind. So we'll see again how that works out for HH. You know, I understand the Rek'Sai again being a pretty heavy focus by Vivian, especially with their Lilia gone. But for them to opt towards the Malzahar in regards to mid, you know, like I said, that's they have a plan. Whether that plan again comes to fruition is going to be, you know, up in the air.
Right. Man, they're flaming me in chat for talking about my own team. I'm like, damn.
Hey, who else would know your own team better than you, though?
Right? So. Plus, I'm giving away my secrets ahead of playoffs. You guys should be thankful, if anything. So take notes. Local Neko Life. He says he's just here for you. I assume that's a friend of yours.
If I have friends, he's my first one, or they are. So yeah, I've made a friend tonight. That's good. So
and he just said, "I'm just here for feathers." To be honest, I'm like, all right. Apparently, whoever they are, they know you.
Well, yeah, go me. Except for So maybe there's someone from the league, but whatever. It's all good.
I would assume so. All right, let me. I like to, when I'm streaming games, I like to go to my volume control and just mute my league client, my Discord, so they don't keep making noise. Especially the client, because if you're casting live, you can still hear client noises, so you'll actually know when the game has ended ahead of time. So I like to turn that off going in, so people don't get spoiled before the end of the game, although you can usually kind of tell it's coming. All right, let me switch over here. Change window. And game. Let me let me know if you can see that. Should be done. Or should be streaming the actual game video now. Oh, I still have the music on. I can turn that off now. There we go. It is gonna load, right? Okay, there we go. And you can see it, right? Yes, I can't hear you if you're talking. I don't know if I messed up something. Yeah, I see you lighting up, but I don't hear anything. Did I do something? I don't know what to make of that. All right, hold on. Da-da-da-da. Oh, because I did. Oh, because I muted Discord, of course. That's why it doesn't work. Duh. There we go. I figured it out eventually.
Oh, good.
I want to mute the Discord client, not the Discord call. Okay. So, first thing you want to do when you get into a game, you want to hit UON, just kind of bring up the overlay the way you want it.
Yeah.
So you have objective timers and scoreboard and no timer thingy. And then if you hold Control-Shift-Z, you can zoom out farther.
Yeah.
You can normal game. So those are kind of the main things to do. But other than that, yeah, you just kind of go in. Say both teams are just kind of content to just 5-point and chill level 1. Something I wish more teams would do.
Minions have spawned.
I hate trying to win or lose a game at level 1 because usually you end up losing it if you're like the aggressor.
The only thing again is that just based off of it's kind of again a modified flourish point. You know, maybe again like the Mundo would have had the opportunity to potentially go in for a cheeky ward, like Blitzsprite kind of just did here, but nothing wrong with just keeping it safe, especially when you're going to be Mundo and stacking.
Right. Looks like junglers are going to do reverse starts this time around. It's going to be Xin Zhao starting bot and Rek'Sai starting top, although it's a bit of an odd clear. This is like an old school clear. You skip Raptors, and or you do red and skip Raptors. I haven't seen a jungler do a clear like that in a long time.
And the only thing favorable that I'm seeing early is obviously again that that Corki pick's already yielding some pretty substantial damage as well on bot lane thus far. So
Yep, no, it's definitely getting nerfed next patch, but that's not until Wednesday, so abuse it while you can. Or until next Wednesday, so yeah. Any teams still playing in week 9, this is your time to know. Corki's busted, although not that busted. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but the Corki's going to go down there. I think maybe it's a little lack of coordination with his support there. Because the the Lyle or the Bard still had her ignite and everything. Plus, I'm well known for just not paying attention. I'm too busy talking. Apparently, Rek'Sai tried to gank bot and just died for free.
Well, trying to again, like you're trying to make up for again a slight error. Batrito there kind of again was trading all fine and fair and good, but got mispositioned just a little bit. Ended up, catching a turret shot, which forced the barrier, which summarily again got a little bit tagged enough that after the barrier dropped, that there was some pretty. There just again was enough that, the bot lane of BW was able to capitalize. So.
Let's see. Wow. BW already up to a almost 2K gold lead already. All those early kills will do that.
The one saving grace on the side of HH here is at least two of those kills are on the Lulu. So comparatively speaking, again, you're always going to take kills where you can get them, but at least it's not 3 kills on the Twitch thus far.
That is true. Yeah, you definitely.
I'm gonna want that.
Definitely don't. Oh, ooh, okay. Very aggressive flash by Xin Zhao there. Follow up on it. I guess Corki still had flash after all of that. I guess he just kind of went down without using it. A fight breaking out here in the bot lane. They are able to get the jump on Twitch and pop in first, but then Rex is going to go in return. And the fight's going to continue breaking out. Xin Zhao is going to go down next, and Lulu's going to try to follow this Porky and finish her off, but finish him up. He's just not going to have enough damage. Or is he? Wow, he actually does. Even with the Malzahar coming in and ulting. I'm really surprised by that. Lulu had enough damage to finish off Corki there.
Well, and again, I give credit on the side of HH in the sense that they did make sure to prioritize Brain Crane. That serrated Dirk start is absolutely again punishing, but the fact whether it's positioning or otherwise that the majority of HH was to able to get on, minimize that Twitch's impact and kind of kill them early, definitely turned that fight for the side of HH. So well done.
Yeah, no, they played it well for sure. Meanwhile, the first Dragon's going to be going down here, using their bit of a tempo advantage to go ahead and do it. I just realized Corki has Conqueror. That has to be an accident, right? I don't think you're supposed to go Conqueror on Corki. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't play ADC. But I have a suspicion that you're not supposed to go. I have a suspicion that you're not supposed to go Conqueror on Corki.
You're looking a little green.
The one dangerous aspect I have on this on the side of HH is that I get in regards to Bard, obviously you want roams, you want those, get a fair bit of meeps as well as protecting the grubs. But it is kind of getting to that point lightly where, you're helping out the kind of Twitch Lulu lane in this regard, who already have had some fair bit of gold in their pocket, and to kind of continue to build that CS lead. We'll see in regards to it, but the fact that HH both kind of lose grubs as well as, make things a little more difficult on their Corki, it's not probably what you want to see. But they've been able to get it at least for a grub, but losing their life in this response.
Yep. Malzahar is able to go over here and kind of catch him out on the side, but he ends up having to flee once the Smolder comes. And Mundo's just kind of up here doing Mundo things, but he's going to run out of time here pretty soon. But well, is he going to get the Urgot? No, he's going to run out of room. And then are they going to try to... No, they're going to go ahead and just back off here as well. So yeah, we ended up getting... It ended up being 2 grubs for Team BW.
And again, that is beneficial for both teams because at the very least, if someone's able to sweep the second set of grubs, that at least will give you one little grubby to come with a roam for you. So there is definitely going to be a priority on second set of grubs, potentially for both teams. So
I'll be right under their noses. Hi!
Meanwhile, another gank going to be coming up here, but Xin Zhao's going to be waiting for it, and he's going to be waiting in the bush. Able to get on the bar, but he ends up flashing away and living, and now the rest of the fight's going to break out. Yeah, a lot of kind of blows coming in here, but Xin Zhao's doing a lot of work thanks to that that big shield combined with the Twitch ulti. It's just really, really hard to fight, even with the greater numbers there for Team HH. And now he's looking for more, because they're all just kind of chilling back here with no HP.
well, and you see again over the course of this, just the difference in regards to gold that is present in BW's bot lane. You know, that was technically kind of a 3v3/4v3, but due to how the damage output had come, there was a point obviously where not all of the members of HH could be present because they've been getting poked out over that, and then summarily the only one on Sin was able to take advantage at the end there. So, well done.
Yeah, and big gold lead early too, obviously. The BW bot lane, I mean, ATC's up about 1,300. Yeah, and Swart's up about 1,300, so they're up about 2,500 gold, 2,600 gold in the bot lane alone. So that's more than their total gold lead total, so that makes a big difference. Plus, I think Corki's probably losing a lot of damage by having this Conqueror. Like, yeah, he's done 13 healing with it, so he's procced it maybe one time and gotten maybe 1 auto attack off of it. So not great value. Then there's a dive up here in the top lane. They go ahead and dive this Urgot. They're able to get him too, which I find kind of interesting. And Mundo with a CS lead on their Urgot. That is really not what you want to see. If you're Team BW, you can't have Mundo be going even or ahead in the early game, as it only gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a nice little trade there. Guess he does have the collector already, so.
And again, it's interesting on the side of HH. No, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say Vivian has kind of been taking hard lumps this game. He's been going down basically for every play, up to the 4 deaths on Rek'Sai already. Although speaking of going down, Mundo had a very silly backing spot. Ends up feeding a free kill to Xin Zhao there, but something to think about. Never want to just back in the middle of the lane for anyone when you have low health, because that's what can happen.
Absolutely.
And yeah, Smolder already up to 105 stacks. Because once he's got the AoE explosion now, so every time Malzahar puts the Voidlings down, Smolder can just shoot the Q at it and get like 3 extra stacks. Ooh. They do have the bot lane for BW a bit caught out here, and they're having to run for it. And yeah, they're just too outnumbered, but they might get away. Ooh, nope, almost. If that Bard Q hadn't hit, I think he would have been out of there.
Mm-hmm. That's just again a fantastic.
He even says it. He says, "Great Q Bard." There you go. And HH is going to be going in for their second dragon. So even though they've been behind early game in terms of gold, they've got the objective lead. Well, kind of. They got 2 dragons, but missing 5 grubs. But to be honest, I would take 2 early dragons over grubs any game, especially if you're on a team that's trying to scale, because not only does that mean you have the threat of the soul sooner if the game's going well, but you think the names are reversed to the sides? Do I have it on the wrong ones? Someone
What side do you have? Because HH is on the right. Or on red side.
Oh yeah, I do have it on the wrong side. Whoops. My bad. Thank you for mentioning that in chat. My bad. Totally spaced on that one. Okay, there we go. Oh, another gank coming up around the bot lane. Rek'Sai's here, but she's here a bit early, and now they're just trying to stall long enough for this Gorgon to get here to actually do damage, but it's just not gonna... Well, okay, I said it was not gonna happen, but they're gonna go ahead and flash on the Lulu, and they're gonna get her. Okay.
Again, I think that's a, you know, it for sure is not ideal. Chances are, again, you obviously want to pin,
You have draft.
the
Oh
Twitch.
my god. And I am a very unprofessional streamer today. My apologies to the Twitch chat. I'm doing a terrible job at the moment. But there we go. That's why I have it open, so they complain and I can see it. Because I'm giving them stuff to complain about. Yes, thank you, Mr. Saw Dude. Yeah, they got a gang up on bot. BW went and got Rift Herald. They've kind of... BW's been getting everything topside.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Got people, everybody starting to get their first items. You know, Triforce Collector, Sundered Sky, Warmogs, Brightbreaker, Malignants. I personally don't like Malignants on Malzahar, but that's just kind of my personal preference. Having the ult up more often is nice, and it is a little bit more damage to like the one person that you're ulting, but I think Blackfire Torch is just better in my opinion. But I also think Malzahar is kind of crap in general, no matter what you build on him. So it's hard to figure out what the best of the options are for a champ that's just kind of mediocre.
Well, I would have liked Malignance as well, because again, you got the Malignance, plus you've got again the the movement boots, the boots of swiftness. The only thing that I've noticed again, Vivian hasn't spent a lot of proximity time mid lane as well, where I think again there could be a little bit more optimization when it comes to that. So the fact of that kind of is a double whammy when it comes to Malignance Plus, because again, I don't know how much they're really been. They've used Malzahar out once/twice, but it's
yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, they're not. They have they have the Malzahar ulti mid, but they haven't really used it to make plays around mid. So yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't think about that until just now. And I'm also the Swifty boots. I hadn't noticed. I mean, yeah, lots of Swifty boots over here. Got triple Swifty boots for Team HH so far. I imagine we'll see a third one for Mundo here when the time comes. That's really not what you want to have happen. Yeah, Mundo be getting kills. That's not what you want.
And again, regrettably on the side of in the case of top lane, there really isn't an easy way back now in regards with Mundo, being equal CS. Mundo's going to be an absolute, a terror as this game kind of continues on. We're 17 minutes in. They've got their Warmogs spike in regards to that. So
yeah, your goal is in any Mundo game is to get to your Warmogs without incident. If you do that, you're in a good spot. Although speaking of good spot, Urgot does a very aggressive TPN here, but not able to actually really make anything happen. I feel like maybe they could have just killed the Urgot, but it's probably better to just back. I guess they knew Mundo wasn't coming, so it's probably better if they didn't try to force anything. Cheeky Bard ulti there to avoid the Rift Herald charge on the tower. Not sure if that's worth it, but it is funny. A bit of an interesting Malzahar ulti on the Lulu. I don't even think she had the Malefic Visions on her, so it didn't actually do that much damage. Wasn't quite the follow-up you were hoping for, and yeah, I mean, predictably that play's not going to go well for HH. And they used that big of a cooldown to not really accomplish anything, so yeah, they're going to have to back off now. I guess they realized their time was limited and they wanted to force a play, but they did not execute it. And meanwhile, they're over here. Sorry, they're up here in the top lane. What even happened up here? Where they just? I saw Mundo die, but let's see what actually happened. I like to back up a little bit because I'm constantly not paying attention because I'm too busy talking. I guess Mundo just loses this. Yeah, okay, he doesn't have passive, so okay. Yeah, fair enough. I'll play Urgot. And obviously, BW is going to use their team fight win there. Mid to go get their first dragon of the game. And this is also why I like getting dragons early on a scaling comp, because losing dragons at this point in the game isn't nearly as big of a deal when it's their first one you're giving up, right? Whereas if that had been BW's third dragon, that'd be a much scarier proposition. And sorry, Bunny, I can't change the title. They have not given me that power.
So, where we're at in regards to this point in the game, I feel like Moon is kind of stuck lightly between a rock and a hard place. Unfortunately, again, like, Vivian has brought themselves back into this game again by, you know, forcing some stuff and getting a little bit of benefits here and there. You know, they started off relatively, you know, sacrificing their life a fair bit of times, you know, but right now, off of stuff, we're at that point where, again, the Corki just isn't going to do a ton of damage, so that Rek'Sai is kind of at the point where there's not enough on the team to execute somebody again if potentially Malzahar locks them down.
That is true. Yeah, they're having a bit of trouble with lack of damage, so yeah, they might have the playmaking, but can they actually kill who they're going on? Because that's tough, because they got the Lulu there, so... You know, anybody who gets Malzahar ult is probably going to get Lulu ulted in response. They are going to go for this dive on Smolder here. They're going to, yeah, very well executed dive by HH. Definitely didn't need to ulti there for Mundo. But they'll go ahead and walk out. And then, okay. I don't know why Malzahar TP'd in there either. And then Mundo's TP'ing. These are some very strange TPs, I'm going to be honest, for Team HH. Like, I am... I'm not going to flame them, but that was some interesting TP usage, I must say. I guess they thought more of a fight was about to break out, so they wanted to TP down immediately, but then once they realized it wasn't, they were like, oops. Yeah. Someone has to go top, guys. Sorry, my bad. Mundo needs to be Mundo needs to be more careful like that. If he gets his passive pop for free, that means that Urgot ult can get him, that can kill him. So he needs to show a bit more care of how he's doing these fights, because he should not be just losing these straight up to Urgot.
No, and especially at this point in the game. Obviously, you know, you do want your Heartsteel, you do want your Warmogs, but all of these are typical Mundo items in a conventional average build. But you're also dealing with a team that and a laner as well. Like, for me, AD itemization goes so hard here in regards to this setup. So I'm not sure again how to quite go about it. But in short, the last thing that you've got to be doing here is, you know, giving up kills for that Urgot and changing the whole dynamic of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Why not armor boots on this Mundo into 4 auto attackers? Well, yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. My only thought on that, I guess, is that you'd rather make it easier to run away or kite or run them down than tabbies. But yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think this is definitely would have been a tabby / plated steel caps game for Mundo for sure. I mean, same for Rek'Sai for that matter. Bit of a catch coming out here on the Smolder, and they're gonna get him. I was about to do a Smolder check, but he kind of ruined it by dying there. So I'll have to check once he respawns.
Smolder check, still down for 25 seconds.
Yes. Team HH went to the Sonic the Hedgehog school of thought for League. They got to go fast. That's why they're building all these Swifties. The one person who built tabbies was the Corki, which is the one I probably wouldn't have built tabbies on, but here we are. And they gotta kind of get a bit of an ambush on this Mundo here. And he's gonna go ahead and go down. And that Mundo ult's actually, or that Urgot ult is actually huge against Mundo if you can get the passive off before you fire it. And HH's done in hot pursuit, and they do end up taking the Urgot, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 play. Let's see here. All right, where's Smolder? Smolder's at 211, so he's almost to those stacks. Should be here in about just another minute or so. Not 100% on exactly how his stacks work mechanically. I believe it's like per CS with Q, plus like queuing champions, I think. But yeah, no, I feel you, Jeff. I think Mundo kind of needs to mitigate the burst that this Urgot's doing to him so he has a chance of surviving the long fights. And the fight, speaking of long fights, this Dragon's breaking out. HH started it, but then BW said no, so they're going in, and Vivian goes in hard in return and gets a nice like 3-man knockup, but there just isn't a follow-up for it. So he's going to go down, and the rest of HH is going to be forced to flee afterwards. That was a very aggressive attempted play by Vivian, and it was like a good 3-man Rek'Sai knockup, but there was just no, like, there's just no follow-up for it. So, yeah. And BW, in terms of the fights, BW has just been killing it so far this game. So, I mean, they're going to have to keep doing it, too, because, you know, everything I said about, you know, the comp difference at the beginning still stands. And meanwhile, Mundo's starting to Mundo over here, but he's not quite that big yet. So, ends up going down, but he does take the Twitch with him.
And again, I think that was very close to being very good on the side of HH. Toro just again wasn't present at the start of that fight, and that made it again disjointed for the Dragon aspect, and that bought enough time for the rest of BW again to kind of get in the position that they wanted to, and then just kind of throw out a damage advantage. So.
Oh, definitely. I'm just noticing that Xin Zhao has the movement. What is the Moby's equivalent boots?
Yes.
Interesting. I never see junglers build that, but apparently he's opted for it this game. So, and QSS coming in for the Smolder. He's tired of getting Malzahar ulted. Understandable.
Well, I
feel like if he's getting Malzahar ulted, sorry, I feel like if he's getting Malzahar ulted a lot, that's more of like a positioning issue. Like, how far forward are you as Smolder that you keep getting Malzahar ulted? You know, but
absolutely.
Oh, just a light bit of flame from Caster there. Sorry, Waps. Ooh, are they gonna be able to catch out the Urgot here? I think they will. No, he's gonna be able to get to this plant in time, I think. Nope, he decides he'd rather just try to turn, but he doesn't have that much damage. He's a big Urgot, but he's not that big.
Well, I think again, if you're the side of HH, this is absolutely a Baron play. You've got the Mundo with TP if need be.
Mundo should be TPing right now. You shouldn't wait until the fight starts. But yes, I agree. Yep, and here he comes. But yeah, like if Mundo was here right now, I feel like they just wipe him easily. But now the Mundo's a little bit late because he waited. I mean, in the end, I was still looking pretty good. Well, I spoke too soon. The Xin is doing Xin things. Yes. I mean, look at that. I mean, if the Mundo had just been there a bit earlier, I think the Xin just dies without killing anybody. But it's hard. It's hard in that situation too to realize sometimes when you should TP early, because top laners, you know, they want to stay and push and then TP once something happens. But sometimes it takes too long, right? You just want to TP in preemptively. I think that was definitely one of those times. Yeah, I think there were multiple points where Xin Zhao would have just died if there had just been a little bit more damage present. But he kept healing because of Sundered Sky and because of Xin Zhao inbuilt healing and Triumph and all that good stuff. I do find the Randuin's third item interesting. I don't think it's bad necessarily. It's just not something you see tanks really build, like early Randuins. And there's not really a lot of crit to necessarily justify that either, so I just find that an interesting purchase.
Again, I would have probably opted towards the Frozen Heart myself in regards to stuff with what he had, because he did have the Warden's Mail, but, you know...
I would like to see both Mundo and Rek'Sai swap these out for Plated Steel Caps at some point, because you need to be able to scrap with Xin Zhao and Urgot long enough for your backline to actually kill people, right? So Swippies are fun and all, but you need to be able... Thunder Sky hit first crit counts as a crit. I mean, that is technically true. That is true. That one hit will do 30% less damage because of Randuin's. Is it 30? Yeah, 30. Okay. No, fair enough. You got a 5th dragon coming up here. Both teams kind of trying to take possession for it, but BW is down, definitely in the driver's seat right now. HH seems pretty afraid at the moment. Mundo's actually level 16. I don't think they need to be that afraid. Like, level 16 is an absolutely enormous Mundo power spec, especially to go with that Randuin's. Yeah, the fight's going to break out, but Mundo needs to actually pop his ulti before he gets killed by the Urgot. Yeah. Ends up doing it, but he tanks long enough for the rest of HH to start popping off behind him. And yeah, I mean, look at that. He's back to full health already. And the rest of HH is perfectly fine, so they end up winning the fight because of just how hard he tanked. So that's the level 16 Mundo power spike coming in. I don't think he even used his Randuin's active. I think he might have forgotten about it. And yeah, they're going to get the dragon and they're going to dive and get kills as well. So that's huge for HH. I mean, they were looking in a rough spot, but they were able to ride that Mundo 3-item level 16 power spike to win that team fight very convincingly. So well played to them. And 3 mana items for Malzahar. I have never seen that in my life. I've never seen an Anivia with 3 mana items. Like, this is wild. I mean, I guess if you want, you really find it wild. You only get plus 50 AP from Seraph, even with 3 full mana items. You feel like it would be more value, but I don't know. That was a very strange Malzahar build. Where's Liandry's, bro? Where is it? Where's the Rylai's? This is just... I don't know what champion he thinks he's playing. This is... I'm sorry to flame so much Blitzbright. This is just a very strange... It's a very strange build. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a very strange build. A lot of strange builds all around on Team HH, if I'm fully honest. But I mean, they just won a team fight, so what the hell do I know? Huge Seraph shield. That is a good point. It is a huge Seraph shield. Yeah, 200 plus 20% current mana. So if you've got like 3,000 mana, yeah, that could be pretty big. That could be like 600 health shield. Okay. Mundo going for more damage. He's going for the Dead Man's Plate second. This is a very strange Mundo build. Like, I am a well-known to be a kind of a Mundo spammer in solo queue. And I'm usually going like Titanic and stuff. I don't think this is bad at all, but it's just not what you normally see on Mundo. You see like Unending Despair and Thornmail and Titanic Hydra, but he's gone for the more utility armor items, which I find interesting. I do like the Randuin slow though. That 70% slow, like that is a very chonky slow. Like 70% is a lot. It's not like a decaying slow either. That's the full 70% for the full 2 seconds. That makes a big difference in a team fight. So I actually like Randuin for that reason alone.
think with this next dragon, with HH having, being on sole point here, it's going to be really fascinating given how there's a lot of fight in this, in the river 2 minutes, again, even prior to the objective, so.
Mm-hmm. No, I think they should be too. They want to take advantage of this big Mundo and his Warmog as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually really surprised they didn't take this little fight that was kind of shaping up right there. I think they easily could have. I definitely don't think Mundo needed to run there. You want to try to get as much fighting without using your ulti as possible because it's a long cooldown, right? It's almost 2 minutes still because the normal Mundo builds don't have cooldown in them. So you kind of want to try to get as much value as you can without using it. Let your Warmogs do it. And then once the real fight breaks out, then you pop the ulti. Ooh. Okay. He doesn't... Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're gonna buy if you're gonna buy the QSS item on an ADC, that's how you want to use it, right?
Yeah, you might as well get your money's worth.
Get the jump on Malzahar with it. And the fight's breaking out here. Zen has to ult early just to kind of get away. And HH realizes the advantage they have, and they're running them down. They're gonna catch. Surprisingly, they didn't get more out of that. They do get the Lulu though. The dragon is spawning for 30 seconds. I really like to see them move aggressively to get position on this dragon now, rather than waiting until the last second, because this is their soul and they want it bad. This is a Chemtech soul too. Chemtech soul is a nice. I mean, depending on who you ask, Chemtech soul is either really bad or really good. I tend to be a fan of it, but I know a lot of people aren't. Mundo is especially good at using Chemtech soul though, because he tends to be below half health a lot and fights for a long time, so he gets a lot of value out of those Chemtech soul modifiers. But
absolutely.
So we'll see what happens here. HH does have position, but BW could just move in here and try to steal this. I think they have to. Oh yeah, see, here we go. They moved in too far without vision. Zinzo's gonna go ahead and go down. Can't do that. Nope. Mundo turnbacks to get his heart steal. I respect it. Yeah, that's gonna be a Dragon Soul for HH. I'd like to see them go for the throat here. There you go. Nice Bard ulti. Unfortunately, he doesn't not quite able to get the Twitch, but Twitch is isolated from his team now, so he's gonna go ahead. He's gonna go ahead and go down. I think he had like half health when he flashed that wall, but he died anyway. To the Mundo auto with Heartsteel. I did like half his health. Oh, okay. I mean, this is what we were kind of talking about during Champ Select, right? I mean, if the game went past 30 minutes and this Mundo got big, I can't kill him. And so far, hypothesis seems to be holding true. They can't kill the Mundo. And they don't have a great team for kiting the Mundo out either. Twitch is not... He's not like a Kai'Sa or a Vayne, that can just keep dodging everything. Once you're on the Twitch, what is Twitch supposed to do, right?
Yeah. And I think the other thing in regards to this that I would have liked to have seen from BW there is once your Lulu is dead, once your Lulu's gone, you can't really stick around the Dragon Pit. You're really just hoping in some cases perhaps for a steal. I would have wanted to go, okay, if you're going to take Soul, then we absolutely unquestionably have to take Baron, like to essentially kind of force HH to either trade it or react. And instead they end up giving up both major objectives, so unfortunate.
Yeah, I feel like... I'm sure they're probably realizing it by now, but like, the gold is even, but these fights are anything but even, right? Like, these are very heavily HH slanted at this point. And I feel like the only way that BW can win a fight now is if they catch out the HH bot lane and burst them down before Mundo can carry the team fight. And then everyone focus the Mundo at the same time and deal with that. And right now, they just don't have it. And they don't have... I'm looking at it. They don't have... I guess they do have 3 Grievous Wounds. Okay, so they got 3 Executioners. Okay, never mind. I was about to flame them for having the wrong items, but they're actually good in this case. So, good job.
The other thing that I also want to comment on, again, that, props is Vivian's Thornmail here in regards to the actual value that they're getting out of that item versus with this whole all-ED team again. it's not necessarily all that bad. I wasn't aware of it until I directly went and looked. But again, credit to Vivian again for that little bit of itemization to give a little bit more sustainability.
Yep, they BW definitely picked a comp with a clock, and I think the clock has run out. So certainly not unwinnable for them at this point, but I think it would take a miracle for them to turn this one around. We'll see what the League gods have in store.
And I think just even on the side of BW, the unfortunate thing is that all things considered, that Twitch and Lulu had a lot of early kills and a lot of resources, but they just haven't been able to function again for the most part, in the last 20 minutes. They haven't been able to get any kills funneled onto them. They've been, again, not that you necessarily want kills on your Lulu, but, the scaling hyper carries of BW, again, don't have a lot of kills / resources onto them. So that's made it difficult for them in the later parts of this game.
Yeah, you would think with how far ahead BW bot lane was that Twitch wouldn't be 2 and 6 right now while way behind in his build. Like, he doesn't even have 4 items yet, and it's at 40 minutes. Like, this Mundo's full build already. So, I mean, it is, yeah, I mean, the carries for BW, despite their early start, they just don't have gold. I mean, neither do the HH carries, really, but the most important carry on Team HH has the big money. Bit of a fight breaking out down here. 3 versus 3. Nice switch ulti. Bart's coming down to force to go out. And HH gets split up, and that's really not good. Vivian in the front line not able to peel because they get kind of split from their AD carry. So, okay, I mean, that's the kind of little plays you're going to need as BW for this to be winnable. I think they really need to get this particular Elder to kind of keep stalling the game out. I don't think they could survive an Elder push at this point.
Well, and that's the other thing. Again, this Mundo is absolutely unquestionably, again, full build, but you've got to be present, right? And HH was able to, kind of had a little bit of a misstep there where, Xin was able to get on the backline effect stuff and subsequently get a kill off onto that Corki. I would like to have seen, them kind of lean into what's been successful with them again, which is quite frankly getting the whole death ball together and just doing the me Mundo, me run it things, and that's that. So,
yeah, for sure. I don't hate getting that tower there, but
yeah,
HH needed to not be doing whatever they were doing over in this jungle. They're going to go ahead and go right for this dragon, and there we go. Now Malzahar's doing the early TP. Makes more sense in this case because he's using base, but you want to be here when this is starting. And yeah, they're just going to go right for it. They're going straight for the Xin Zhao. Figure if it's coming down to a smite fight, you just kill the jungler first, and then you just keep going. Yeah, I mean, they just can't. I don't want to say that nobody else matters because it's not true, but they can't kill this thing. And that was like a really early Mundo ult too. Like if he had held it a bit, he would have gotten way more value out of it, and they still won the fight. Well, I think about it. They actually didn't win it as hard as I thought they did at first. Okay, I mean, no, fair play to BW. I mean, I still don't think they can do this because Wormbog is a fair and balanced item. But yeah, I mean, Mundo's just gonna walk at them again. And Malzahar ulti's up again. Yeah.
Unstoppable.
Okay.
it's just the unfortunate situation there for BW. Parts of that fight looked, again, exceptionally good. They had Smolder, working on some of those executes. They got a fairly good Twitch ult. But just again, the fact that the Mundo ultimately didn't go down meant they were put on a timer in regards to that Elder play that ultimately, again, cost them there. So,
Yep. I imagine they'll just move right back down to Elder again once they're up. Although, I mean, both Baron and Elder are up at this point. I feel like if you're BW, you can't really afford to give up either. But I also don't know if you can actually really contest either. So, we'll see. Maybe they can pull some sort of spicy Twitch flank play out of their hat. But other than that, I think they're in a really tough spot. Oh, and they did take my advice. They went back and got the plated steel caps. Swapped out the Swifties. Okay. They're ghosting the stream confirmed. Definitely couldn't have figured it out on their own.
oh, for sure.
Oh, and they all did. Swifty Malzahar went back and got his swords too. They had a Swifty fire sale. They're like that Toy Story meme. Yeah, I don't want to play with you anymore meme. They're just dropping the Swifty boots on the floor. I am very well known for laughing at my own jokes because I just think of them as I'm saying them. They crack me up.
Totally valid.
Yeah, they're just moving right on this Elder again. They're saying, all right, we won last time. You think we win again? Oh, we're getting a little bit isolated. Oh, they're going to go ahead and go. Oh, ooh, nice flash Zin ulti to interrupt the Malzahar ulti, but the fight is breaking out in earnest. And Mundo's tanking like crazy. Yeah, they just don't have the damage. But unfortunately, the Mundo doesn't have the follow-up either. So it ends up being a relatively even trade. And now we got a low health Elder Dragon here with only the jungler BW up. So BW is going to get it, and they're going to get Elder, and then they're going to get 2 free kills because of the Elder. And now they're going to go ahead and, well, they want to go do this Baron, but I think a smart TP here by Malzahar to kind of force them to try to be confused, maybe try to back here instead of nice outplay there by Malzahar, well played.
Good, excellent button.
Wow, he didn't die to the execute. That looked like for sure that wow, okay. Malzahar might actually just end the game. I don't know how the Elder Dragon didn't execute him there. It looked like it went below the threshold to me. Unfortunately, he's not going to have quite enough time to end, I don't think. Nope, but he is able to force them to back instead of pushing. That was a very strange sequence of plays just across the board. I don't know how that Twitch poison didn't. I guess because he died, so he lost Elder buff. So that means the poison loses Elder buff, so the poison then didn't proc the Elder execute? I guess? Because, like, I don't know. I assume that's how that works. You got Malzahar end up living because of it, and ends up getting both Nexus towers because he survives the Elder Dragon. They do end up going and getting this Baron, though. So, yeah, BW, somehow, despite being much weaker overall in terms of teams, they end up getting both the big objectives. They do lose their turrets here, so they're very vulnerable to a backdoor now. But, honestly, they're, considering where they were recently, they're not in a bad spot at all.
Well, I think winding the clocks back off of that, I don't know, again, in regards to stuff like if HH would have worked on pressuring and pushing that mid lane off of stuff and kind of forcing BW to make a choice between either having to react to potentially the Elder or, have their base kind of threatened. But by having that lane state directly in the mid lane, it was easy enough for BW to kind of dictate and, set up a fight that ultimately was favorable with them around Elder. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I would say, again, despite there being an open base, this game is still very, very much a coin flip. So
that is true. You just have to be very careful of a Mundo backdoor here, because Mundo could probably backdoor with 3 people hitting him.
Absolutely.
So you have to be very aware of that, and as HH, you want to be looking for something sneaky here. I mean, here goes Rek'Sai. He switched out for. Oh, he doesn't actually have the ward though, so he can't. Oh, he can lay tunnels. I totally forgot about that. You could TP the tunnels. So yeah, he's trying to just set up tunnels here so that Mundo could look to TP into the base. I've never really thought about that before, but if you have a champion that can leave something on the map that you can TP to in a late game situation, that's actually kind of huge. Because you can keep your sweeper and still have ways to set up TP plays, which is obviously, if Rek'Sai can get a tunnel like right here when BW's not in the base, the game's over. Because Mundo and Mouse will both immediately TP in, and that'll be the end of it. So I would like to see Rek'Sai keep going for that. And try to get a tunnel like right here somewhere. Yeah, he's looking for it.
And I know that this seems a little bit inexplicable in regards to like present day League of Legends, but could we potentially see a third Elder Dragon enter into the map and be a factor here?
It's certainly possible.
So.
Yeah, I mean, we're closing in on 50 minutes for game 1 here. This is, I mean, I don't know if this is long as Beer League games so far this season, but it has to be close. And it's almost gotten to the point where it's gone on so long that the advantage that HH had with the big Mundo has kind of evaporated a little bit because it's had enough time for the carries of BW to catch up. Because, Mundo was 6 items when these guys were 3.5, but now they're all 6 items as well. I still think HH has the advantage in terms of an actual fight, but we'll see. And poor Corki, he's still not full build yet. 15 minutes in, and neither is Bard. It's tough. And both teams very hesitant to really get into any scraps because they know one lost team fight could be the end. I would like to see them be a little assertive here. Like, they could catch this 100%. I will say that Mundo having Flash instead of Ghost, I think, is kind of something I've been thinking about throughout the course of the game. I think Ghost is really, really good on Mundo for obvious reasons, and I think Flash just doesn't give you quite as much value. Oh, speaking of value, they're going to go right for this Urgon. They're going to get a nice Mazar ulti off on him, but there are huge shields coming in. They do end up taking him, but the rest of BW is coming up on the flank, and Twitch is getting here to fire unopposed, and meanwhile Xin Zhao is just going to town on the back line, and they just don't have, between the Mazar ulti, they don't have enough damage to kill him, and inexplicably BW wins another team fight.
But is Bard looking for? Oh, I was looking for the sneaky Bard backdoor here.
Even if he does, I mean, the problem now is that the inhibs are up, so you'd have to kill the inhib too, and that. Good luck with that on a Bard.
True.
He's having trouble killing that cannon minion. Little, but yeah, I mean, inexplicably. I mean, yeah, Smolder scaling, but they win another team fight. Okay. And I'm not interested to see what they're doing in terms of macro. They're just gonna push mid. Like, they don't have. Do they have time to end? They might. If they can keep these two minions alive, they need to tank this. They need to keep those 2 minions alive because the only one up is Bard, and Bard's not even in the base right now. So he needs to boogie his ass back over here. Maybe do like a cheeky Bard play to kind of stall. Ooh, and a little too late on the Bard ulti. Although I don't think it would have mattered. And yeah, the rest of BW's coming in. Those death timers are just so long that somehow, despite everything, BW managed to hold out and get to the super late game, get a great team fight where they kind of split HH and catch him out. Twitch is able to free fire, Zin's able to go ham on the back line. And they take out HH. And wow, that's not how I expected that game to finish. So very well played to BW. They did a great job. And yeah, I mean, look at those damage charts. 72,000 damage for Smolder, 61,000 damage for Urgot. And yeah, just not much damage coming from Team HH at all, really, other than Mundo. I mean, Mundo was trying his hardest to carry, but the team backup just was not there. So that is tough. Well played to BW to hold on for that long. Also, I realize we have a spy here, Mr. Penny 743. I have no idea who that is. Hello.
Yo,
Who are you? What are you doing here? What's up?
just watching the stream.
Okay. Now you know this is the casting booth, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to be here. Want a front row seat.
Okay.
That being said, again, I do have to give credit to, unfortunately things didn't work out for HH, but there was, they brought themselves back into the game off of that particular point. I just think that ultimately, we got to that point, as you discussed, where the Mundo gets to their full set of items, and then we're still playing another 15 minutes for one way or another. They just weren't able to have a proper way or method to either to essentially force an end one way or the other. And over time, when you've got the scaling factors of Smolder and a little bit and a couple miscommunications, again, that unfortunately that can happen sometimes where you just fall short based off of one unfortunate fight where the Smolders left, the free fire along with the Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, the two ADCs. I mean, I think Corky did what, like 25k in a 50-minute game?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really not. Oh, that's the totally wrong mention street, but that is really difficult to overcome. 500 damage per minute for an ADC is bad in a shorter game. So, in a game that long, I mean, you just need more. So the Mundo was huge, but he can't do everything. So, yeah, we're still kind of waiting for the. Let me message the captain here.
Well, again, when you've just had a 52-minute banger again,
yeah, maybe take a few minutes to get a breather. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. So.
Fair enough. Okay. There we go. Now they invited me to the lobby. Okay. And they gave me the draft link here. They're going to swap sides. So let me. Where's my stupid OBS? Here we go. All right. Teams are starting to file in here, and we'll get started on game 2 draft here pretty soon. Teams are flipping sides. No one gives me tingles in my nethers like this caster named Feathers. Man, this guy really likes you, whoever he is.
I again, like, that gave me the wrong type of tingles. Let me just be honest here. I got the wrong type of tingles. Nothing on Halloween is going to be spookier than that to me. Just so we're clear.
Oh, let me get the. the stream music back on while we wait here.
So do you think there's again any adaptations that you would have on the side of, HH going forward off of this?
Let me think about that. Just given how little damage their carries, especially their AD carry, ends up doing, maybe their ADC just isn't comfortable enough on Corki to make that pick work. Yeah, I mean, 25,000 damage in 52 minutes on Corki is really abysmal. So I don't know if that's an itemization problem, or he just wasn't comfortable in the champion, or if the fights just were all just really awkward, he couldn't do damage. But I mean, you need to do more than that. So when your Mundo does more than double your damage, that is not a good sign. And I also think the Malzahar pick, while it was nice for the picks here and there, the overall DPS of it was low. Overall, it seemed like a very low damage team comp for HH in general, and it definitely bit them because we saw what the Zen Zhao was doing in fights. That dude was just kind of having his way every time he went in. They could not burst him fast enough to keep him from killing at least one backliner, if not two, by himself. And Twitch is off on the side, and if Mundo's not getting on him and killing him, he just simply wasn't dying. So I would like to see something with more agency for Blitz Sprite, whether that's a longer range mage, or a kiting mage, or something to that effect, something that could put out more damage. And I would like to not see a repeat of the Corki, because clearly there's something going on there that was keeping that from being effective. I don't know what exactly, I couldn't tell you, but I guess he did have Conqueror, but it shouldn't make that big difference.
Well, for me on the side of HH, again, they drafted a fair bit of utility, right? They had the Bard, they had the Malzahar. When they were at their best, they were being proactive rather than reactive. And whether that, again, is an adjustment to take away a little bit more of that utility and add a bit more damage, or a bit more beef, I'm not sure. But I think kind of, again, while the Bard wasn't necessarily bad, I didn't see a ton of profoundly changing Bard ults. Whereas again, in the case of like Malzahar, they did get to that point where there at least was like, okay, we're just locking this person down, we're just getting them out of the fight. So I don't think, again, by nature that's bad, but I think as well it's kind of a chicken and egg scenario where ultimately the Corki again is at their best when they have the ability, kind of poke and whittle a team down over the course of a Baron Dance or a or an objective dance, and that just really didn't come out in the game in general. So. But all right, we're moving into game 2 here. Let's go.
All right, we got a draft here for game 2. We do have the right page up. And BW looking to repeat basically the same bands. Aatrox Victor will be Lilia third. Have a feeling it will be. And that's an Echo band second for HH. That's interesting. Echo and Alawi are actually changing up their bands quite a bit. I believe last time they banned... Oh, and then they banned Skarner, so they leave the Lilia open for HH. Will the HH pull the trigger and pick it? I know from my time, both casting Vivian and playing against Vivian, is that you do not leave Lilia open for Vivian. I do think a lack of damage from the jungle position was a bit of a problem last game, because the Rek'Sai could do some playmaking and some tanking, but once the Rek'Sai's in there and does the initial CC, it doesn't contribute a whole lot. So I would like to see the Lilia pick here a lot, just for more of that damage. A very different bot lane so far. Jhin versus Kog'Maw. Okay.
Well, I find it very interesting for that to again be both blue 1 and red 1. It's going to be interesting to see in the remainder of this draft how much dive or again like preventive dive again comes out here. So
Yeah. And BW is running back the Lulu bot lane. With a Kog'Maw, that makes sense. I guess there's no big priority picks that either team feels the need to pick, because they're going ADCs first instead. Fiddlesticks. Is that gonna be a Fiddlesticks jungle?
well, regardless, let's give a shout out to HH here. Again, it's Halloween and they are getting a little spooky here, so I'm totally down for it.
That's true. So far they've picked a demon scarecrow and a psychopath, and now they're picking another psychopath who thinks he's a doctor. So yeah, so far very spooky themed for HH. You gotta respect it, especially with their, they gotta win this game to keep the series going. And they said we're gonna pick scary champs, even if it costs us, because they're committed. And yeah, BW said, wow, Xin Zhao worked great last game. We're going to pick it again. Smart.
Well, I really like the Xin Zhao pick in the context as well of, HH having the Jhin here. It's good. There's definitely a point where Xin Zhao, again, could, depending on how much Mundo interaction occurs, it's at the very least, I do like, again, the potential of Xin coming down bot lane here early to potentially affect the Jhin lane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and BWs look like they're going for the mid lane bans again. What third mid laner will they ban? Assuming that's their plan. Accidental rhyme on that one. Interesting.
Just call it.
A Rakan ban, okay.
Just call my fellow co-caster a rap god here.
Oops. Accidental. It's like my jokes. I just say something funny by accident and then laugh at it myself. It's totally not on purpose. Or planned, rather. Meanwhile, BW decided they want the Malzahar this time. I find this just as strange as I did when HH picked it. Is Malzahar secret OP this patch? I don't know about it. I'm very confused. Now, I will say I do know that BW's Mid has played some Malzahar in Beer League before, so at least there's some history, but I still find it a very odd pick. And then that is indeed going to be the Lilia, so that's not a Fiddlesticks jungle then. That is a Fiddlesticks support, question mark? Fiddlesticks
That's where I'd
mid?
be leaning.
We going to see the rise of Middlesticks? I guess we're about to find out. To get Kassadin, okay, so it's going to be support Fiddlesticks. Okay, and then Kassadin pick into Malzahar. I think that has a lot of promise, but you have to be very careful about when you go in, because if you go in too early, you just get Malzahar ulted in one shot and by their whole team. But if you can get that taken care of first, I could very easily see Kassadin just running his team over, and it's a pretty easy lane for him too. So, okay. HH going for a very hard scaling comp this time around with the super scaling top and mid. And then BW says, hey, the Urgot worked pretty well last time against the Mundo. We're going to pick it again as well. Okay. I will say I found the Mundo early lock-in a little strange. Especially since they not only had they not seen the top laner, but they'd also seen the Kog'Maw. So it won't be quite as good of a pick as it was last game, where they just didn't really have the HP damage. But they did like the Mundo enough to just go ahead and pick it again anyway. Okay. Let's see who. Chat, who do we like better of these two comps going into game 2?
Well, as we're waiting for chat to again respond, my worry in regards to everything on the side of Barren Wasteland is there enough time and is there enough avenues for that Fiddlesticks to pop an ult? Because if that Fiddlesticks is popping an ult, again, if they get into a really secluded place, Lilia's throwing bowling balls down in regards to Dragon or whatever objective is up off of stuff, there's going to have to be pretty substantial target placement or target recognition on the side of Barren Wasteland here. That's what I'm feeling.
Definitely. I will say that it is a support Fiddlestick, so he won't have quite the team wiping threat that a regular Fiddlesticks would in terms of damage. But even if Fiddlesticks isn't bringing the damage, a Great Ult still does a bunch of CC, and HH definitely has the follow-up to go with that. If anything, Jhin is the odd pick out for this whole team comp, which is weird because they picked that first. I would have maybe liked to have seen something more I won't say aggressive, but faster, I guess. So it's total hindsight, but a Sivir here would have been fantastic, But they drafted him first, so and it does help with picks, though. I will give them that. They do have the comp to get picks as well, and Jhin is obviously very good at getting picks and assisting with picks. But I think there's a worry that once Teamfight breaks out, Jhin could kind of just be left in the dust a little bit, because Kassadin and Mundo will be zooming in, and Lilia will be going at 500 miles an hour, because that's what Deer do apparently. And Fiddlesticks will, be the one initiating with ult. In terms of BW comp, I feel like their comp's a little disjointed too, because Malzahar and Kog'Maw want to hang back, but Xin Zhao wants to go in, and Urgot can kind of do both, to be fair. I don't know. I find the Malzahar pick just as odd this game as I did the game before, if not even more so this time around. But we'll see. I mean, it will definitely help with some of these slippery HH champions, Lilia or Kassadin getting ult in either one of them at the right time, and they're cooked. I'll be interested to see what the BW mid builds, I have a feeling he will not repeat the triple mana item on Malzahar. I will think, at the risk of flaming Mr. Blitz Sprite, I do think the Malzahar damage fell off quite a bit because he had no magic pen and no death cap. And you're at 52 minutes into the game. You know, that matters a lot, right? You had your 3 mana items and you had your fun with that, but you just don't have the late game damage. And I could be wrong. I don't think Corki had his Infinity Edge either. That's probably part of why he didn't do as much damage as you would hope for. Yeah, I think the carries of HH had some very questionable itemization last game, and that might have sunk him. But no, I am open to being wrong. I don't play ADC this season, so I'm glad because Riot constantly messes with ADC items and makes them terrible and OP on like back and forth, and ADCs are constantly like alternating between what item is currently OP. You know, sometimes it's IE first, sometimes it's Bloodthirster, sometimes it's Shiv, sometimes it's Kraken, and it's like it's just one patch where every ADC builds that item. It feels like, because Riot for whatever reason is not able to make a balanced suite of ADC items that multiple different ADC classes feel good building for whatever reason. Still got about a minute and a half here of spectator delay, and then we'll get into game 2. Hopefully not quite as long as this one, or quite as long as game 1. Although maybe HH would hoping it would be with their super scaling comp again.
Well, again, that being said, it was a 50-minute banger. Again, and
True.
with it going back and forth from that, you know, I much prefer that to the 21-minute 18-2. Much again, as it's far easier to cast that. There was points again where both teams obviously had some things that they could take from it.
Oh, definitely. No, I feel like any league game at this point in history that goes over 40 minutes is kind of starting to overstay its welcome, because like people are hitting full build. You know, you've hit your power curves. The death timers are really long. The big objectives are up. Like, weird things need to be happening in order for the game to continue. All the way up to 50 plus minutes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the damage of HH just wasn't there, and the Mundo kind of fell off, not because he himself fell off, but because everybody else in the game caught up to him, and he couldn't just 1v9 the fights anymore. But go ahead and switch over to turn the music off, switch over to in-game, and here we go. I do have the size correct this time. Yes.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Again, we see the you know, both sides more than willing to opt back into that Mundo versus Urgot matchup. Again, Toru this time going with the Ghost though, so again, maybe listening to us perhaps a little bit, or you know, I'd like to think that. I'd like to at least think that. So
right, I feel like maybe he took Flash by accident the first game and spent the whole game kicking himself, wishing he had Ghost instead. You know, because I know some people, when they play a league, they just have, you know, like an app do their stuff for them, or they hit the recommended runes and that will change your sums for you and you just don't realize it. I'd like to think that's what happened. I'd like to think he just said, "Oh, I'm playing Mundo. Okay, I'll just give me the recommended Mundo rune page," and it just defaulted to Flash, and he didn't realize until it was too late that it had given him Flash. So I'm actually curious. He does have all of the. He has the wrong Mundo runes, I will say. You're supposed to have biscuits instead of magical boots, because without the biscuits, you don't have enough max HP to turn on Warmogs with just Warmogs. You have to buy another Ruby Crystal, which is not ideal because that's another 400 gold. So it's just a small build mistake there that I'm seeing already. Getting started with the flame here early before the minions have even started dying. I'm also seeing Dark Harvest on Jhin, which is an interesting choice. I'm wondering again if that's on purpose. It's the second sus keystone for him in a row on ADC. So I don't know what to think about that. Team's had a little bit of a pause there, and the replay client always gets weird when there's a pause and freezes for a little bit, but it should get started here any second now. Yeah, there we go. Jungler's gonna head. Yeah, Xin Zhao's doing the same clear he did last game. Red into wolves into blue. That's a very old school jungle clear. You never see junglers do that anymore. It's very strange. Maybe that's a Xin Zhao thing. I really don't know. I don't see a lot of Xin Zhao. Maybe Xin Zhao. Like no jungler skips Raptors, except for Xin Zhao apparently. And you'd think he'd be good at it because he's got the W and I don't know. I don't know what Oni1's doing, but he did great last game, so I'm not going to criticize him too much. That Xin Zhao was popping. Meanwhile, some early action down here in the bot lane. Xin Zhao's going in for a gank. And Fiddles is trying to give him the suck, but unfortunately that just holds him still long enough for they'll just turn and kill him instead. But now Vivian is here with the Lilia, and they want blood in return. He's going to go ahead and flash in, but I don't know if he quite has the damage to actually finish any of these kills. So yeah, he has to let them go, but he does turn in. Does turn to get the Kog'Maw. And that was a nice flash by Jhin to avoid the Kog'Maw passive, which I totally forgot about. But he did not, clearly.
An absolute pile of sums down in regards to bot lane. You know, every single, you know, everything again except for, again, the Kog'Maw flash and the, you know, Fiddle dying early, but maintaining both sums. So it'll be interesting in regards to seeing, you know, if there's anything... What again Layla does on the Fiddle coming back in lane, if they kind of try and force stuff based off of, again, the slight summer advantage that may exist there.
Yeah, you're right. Both jugglers blow out their flash during that play. Let's see, Lilia does have her early Faded Ashes, though. That's really big. That will really speed up her jungle clear. So not ideal. Kind of surprising she didn't go for a Dark Seal here instead of a second Amp Tome, but I am a bit of a fiend for early Amp Tome on basically every, or early Dark Seal on basically every AP champ, because I like stacks. That's the only reason I like stacks. Fiddle, well, I'll say that's not Fiddle. That's his. I still get confused by these because his wards show up as his icon on Spectator Client when they are blatantly not that, and that's just a little confusing.
I must erase
Like both junglers heading bot once again. Xin Zhao has kind of snuck into this bush, and he's just waiting for whoever's coming to come. Meanwhile, Lilia's thinking the same thing. Ooh, and the Xin Zhao W misses. He's not going to be able to follow up, but that's actually probably for the best, because Lilia was right around the corner. It's actually probably better that didn't hit. That would have been an overextend if he had gone in there. I don't think he realizes it, but he got lucky that that missed. And Zenzo says, why not try ganking again? And they're going to go for it. They're going to land it this time. And Zenzo, Jin's going to go down. He's got no sums left. So if he gets hit by that Zen knockup, it's over.
Full credit to Layla there on the Fiddlesticks. Was able to get that Terrify. Unfortunately, again, just simply not enough. And only one was able to sneak the attack in there on Zen to, create that situation that's favorable for them.
Wow, yeah, solar solo kill there for Urgot in the top lane. I will say, I think that it's easy to second guess, but it probably would have been better to hold the fear for after Zen goes in, and then fear. But maybe they were probably hoping that Zen wouldn't be able to get in range at all, which is fair, because that's obviously the ideal outcome, is that you just walk away and don't take any damage at all. But yeah, he was able to get close enough to get in this long W range even after the fear. So, and again, that's just me second guessing, which is my favorite thing to do. Ooh, bit of an all-in breaking out here in the mid lane. I feel like he didn't need to flash. If anything, he probably would have killed Kassadin there if he didn't do that. I think maybe he assumed he was getting ganked, but he definitely would have killed Kassadin there if he hadn't flashed away.
Yep.
So he kind of he panicked. That's a level 7 Kassadin, buddy. He's not going to one-shot you yet. Fights broke out in the bot lane. Lulu's going to have to run. And you can tell I'm sleepy because I totally didn't notice that that BW got this dragon at some point. I totally don't remember that. You probably noticed. But I did not. I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know when that happened. I'm really bad at noticing objectives. Like HH got grubs. When did that happen? I don't know. That's how good my jungle tracking is. Even when I could see the entire map at all times, I still don't notice.
One thing I am noticing here again is the massive CS lead that Vivian has opened up on Oni here. Again, we're talking substantial camps at this point in the game.
Yeah, 36 CS. I mean, that's 9 camps worth. So that is a huge difference, and yet still only ahead 1 level because that's how jungle is, apparently. Yeah, much more traditional Malzahar build here for Waps on his take on Malzahar. Going for the Blackfire Torch Rush.
Now just grab the Dark Seal and you're 100% Slamurai Jack approved. So
exactly, yeah, there you go. Going to be a gank come here on the top lane. Urgot's kind of having to run for it, but he does have flash. I'm kind of surprised he didn't try to flash this wall, but maybe he figured it just wasn't worth it. I guess, yeah, the Lilia would have flashed after him anyway. It's probably better to just hold your flash and accept your death there. Because he was very... Oh, never mind. That's the enemy jungle anyway, so you're right. That's totally smart to not flash there. Oh my goodness, I am... Can you tell I was prepared to cast today?
It's all good. The other thing, too, again, is that, with Vivian being level 8, even if that Urgot was hypothetically going to flash, as soon as I'm seeing that flash with Urgot, I'm if Urgot were to flash, I'd just be popping that ult if I was Vivian anyways, and then you get the best of both worlds again. So.
Yep. Meanwhile, both supports roaming up here for this second set of grubs. Good macro for both teams. Very well played so far by HH, though, and they're going to have BW on the run here. And running is what they're going to do, but they're not going to make it. No hills for them. They're going to go down. That's going to be a double kill for Lilia. And so far, it's looking like leaving Lilia open for Vivian to pick has been a very foolish decision. And you know what? If they end up losing, if BW end up losing this game and we go to game 3, we have to thank them for thinking of the fans, you know?
Absolutely.
They were like, we won a game 3, we'll leave Lilia up, and if they win, hey, we get a game 3, we'll ban at game 3 and win the series anyway, right? He's making it more interesting for us as the spectators. So they're professionals, you know? They're always thinking of the crowd.
Absolutely dedicated to their craft. You gotta give them credit for that.
Mm-hmm. Also, the Eclipse first on Xin Zhao, is that what he went? Is that what he went last game? No, I think he went Sundered Sky first last game.
I think he was Sundered Sky.
Yeah, that's interesting. Going for a bit more of a like a burst damage build this time around. Although, does Eclipse actually do more damage than Sundered Sky? I feel like Sundered Sky might actually do more damage because of the crit, but I don't know. It is a much cheaper item, to be fair. And that's going to be second dragon over BW while I'm blabbering. And then another gank up on the top lane. Is Urgot going to go down here? No, they don't quite have the damage. No ulti there for Lilia to go ahead and finish him off. And the reinforcements are on the way. They need to not overstay here, and they are overstaying, but they're kind of waiting for Malzahar to get in position. They're still overstaying. And now Xin Zhao and Urgot or Xin Zhao and Malzahar are going to go in, and they need to ult this Lilia immediately. Don't let her get away. There we go, and then he's going to go ahead and go down. And Mundo will be fine because he's Mundo. He'll go back to his tower, but after popping ulti. But yeah, definitely a bit of an overstay there. And meanwhile, we got another freeze. I'm hoping we don't get a full freeze because that. Okay, there we go. Things get really messy trying to get to the game back to where it was if you get a full freeze. So we really don't like that. Meanwhile, fights breaking out here in the bot lane, but it's very weird positioning. That's going to work in HH's favor. They're going to stall long enough for Kassadin to come down and pick up his free double kill. He's only going to get one of them, but it's still a double kill, so it still counts. Very, like, they were up here, but this was the enemy tower, and they were... I don't know what was happening down there. That was a very strange play. And then Mundo getting caught out here, I guess. Maybe get caught in the rotation trying to get to this tower. I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but he's going to go down. And Lilia with the Liandry's already.
But again, full credit to Oni here off of stuff being relatively down in CS. Picked up a couple kills here. You know, once that money again ultimately comes in, you know, you're gonna start seeing that translate a little bit more. Opting for the Eclipse again last game, I think he did. I think that was his last item was actually the Eclipse. So to go from last item last game on Xin Zhao to first item this game is for sure an interesting change that you talked about earlier.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, despite his CS deficit only going down about 600 gold, so it's not bad at all. It's very manageable. And the Mundo being kept down much better this game compared to last game. CS much lower compared to so not having nearly as good. I mean, he was struggling a bit in the matchup last time, but he was farming. Now he's struggling to farm too. About 1,000 gold lead here for HH. But 2 dragons over for Team BW. And again, we're getting another freeze here. And they must be pausing repeatedly, and it's causing weird issues with the spectator, because spectator gets very grumpy when people are pausing.
And I know they had talked again about the bot lane on the side of BW having issues in regards to lag. So I wouldn't be surprised again if that was either Brain Crane or Trash Can.
Was that them saying that? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah, bot having where your lag may pause. Okay. Okay, fair enough. It is indeed the bot lane for BW. Give them another minute or so, and if they're still frozen, we'll see what we can do.
The thing that again scares me right now, if I'm on the side of BW, it's not just again that you're down 1k gold. That obviously again is manageable 15 minutes into the game. It's that for the next, again, until that Herald is properly dropped, you don't have the Bard on this side in regards to stopping that kind of first charge. Where Vivian chooses to drop that Rift Herald, and where again, whether that's turrets or whether that's just simply again throwing down resources, is going to be exceptionally interesting. We had that Kassadin who picked up again the kill and the assist on bot lane. We're starting to get to that slowly towards that dangerous point in regards to that, right? So it's going to be interesting for me for where that Rift Herald goes and what again Blitzbreak kind of does in the next little while, or again them as a team, I guess, in short, to see if they're going to focus more on getting that Kassadin right up to the next levels and item spikes, or if they're going to try and look again for an opportunistic play and just take whatever BW potentially offers them.
For sure. And we are still frozen here, so let me... Are they still in game? Yeah, I guess we'll try to reload and see if we can get back in. I've never seen it. If it's frozen for this long, that's not a good sign. So we'll go ahead and leave there. See if we can respectate here. Hopefully that'll load, but usually if it freezes, it tends to have trouble loading back in as well. So we'll see how much if we can get in, and B, how much we'll have missed once we get in. So no.
Well, there'd only be one thing worse, and that would be again seeing as you're disconnecting or whatever, seeing a victory and defeat screen. So
yeah, right. Well, we were able to get back in. We did miss about 3 minutes, unfortunately. So we were at about 15:30 when we quit the replay, and we were able to get back in at about 18:30. It's about 3 minutes. Looks like BW has closed the gold gap considerably and gotten their third dragon. So big fight must have happened that went their way during the time we were missing. Very unfortunate, but there's really no way to see that other than maybe like waiting for the entire game to finish and then going back. But who wants to do that?
Yeah, and based off of again just looking at the general kill aspect, it definitely looks like again there was a massive fight around third drag that again the side of BW won based off of how those kills largely went to like Xin and Cog along with that third drag. So that's what I predict.
Yep. Seems like that's very likely what happened. Yeah, the Mundo really behind this game compared to last game. Down 1.4k gold, not even close to his Heartsteel, and we're coming up on 20 minutes. That is not ideal. We're not going to see a Mundo carry anytime soon. So the rest of HH kind of just tries to hold together, but they're on the clock because BW's Dragon Soul's up in 3.5 minutes. Kind of a very strange gank going up on the Urgot here, but it is going to stall long enough for Kassadin to get there. But the rest of BW is going to say, and they're going to say, "Don't worry, Urgot, we got you." And they do in fact got him. And meanwhile, HH is just going to start to kind of get run down afterwards. Yeah, I went from a decent-looking gank for HH to a triple kill for Team BW, and they said, all right, we'll take your triple kill and we'll raise you this Baron, and they're going right for it. I mean, I feel like Fiddlesticks has to come over here and maybe try something, but probably doesn't have the damage, even if he gets like a perfect ulti off. So, yeah, I mean, that's just another huge play for Team BW. They turn the gank into their advantage. They get 3 kills and they get Baron, so they're up to a 5k gold lead. And with their potential Dragon Soul just 2 minutes away, I mean, BW turned this game around fast while we were gone, apparently, and they've kept it going since we returned.
And again, if you're the side of HH, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Because, you know, with that soul coming up, do you lean on the fact of hoping that Blitz Sprite again gets to level 16 and kind of can do stuff and play for, you know, an Elder 9 minutes down the road? Is that even a possibility, given that you're already down 5k?
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Yeah, it is hard to say. I mean, I think you just have to give this dragon here, as painful as it is. You need to give the Mundo and the Kassadin time to try to get to level 16 and hope that's good enough. Because if you try to fight for this Dragon Soul and you die, and I get Dragon Soul, that's like a game sealing play. I think you just have to give it, especially since they also have the Baron buffs on top of their big gold lead. They also have all the extra stats as well. Yeah, I think they just have to give it, which always sucks. But you know, that's part of why it's so bad to give up early dragons, is because now this situation shows up way earlier in the game before you're ready to deal with it. They do get a nice 3-man gank off on the Urgot, though. The kill went to Fiddlesticks, I think? I don't know.
The thing is, as well, though, like, given the setup off of stuff, it's not horrible on the side of BW. Yes, you've lost your Baron pushing, but if BW so chooses, they can wait for the Urgot to TP in and make this a 5v5 if that's how they want to play it. So,
yeah, they don't have to rush this at all. So you were totally right. Although they don't seem too eager to wait, they're going right for it. They are going to have the Urgot TP in though, just in case. And they're going to go for it. And the Lily is actually able to steal it. And now HH, I mean, they've completed the steal, and they just need to get out of here without losing too much. And that's a great play for them. Yeah, I mean, you'll trade your jungler's life to prevent Dragon Soul every day of the week.
Absolutely, especially with the Kassadin and Mundo, that's an additional 5 minutes that, in regards to at least that you know, that's fantastic. So.
No, Kassadin did end up dying too, so that's going to delay his level 16 a little bit. And that's also going to... That's a lot of damage on Mundo, my goodness. Yeah, can't tank this this Kog'Maw quite the way he was able to tank the Twitch last game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got the Rage Blade and the Bork, so they've nerfed Bork a lot. It's obviously not as good as it was before, but it's still pretty good against Mundo. And yeah, I mean, another set of triple mana items for Blood Sprite on Kassadin this time. He really likes his mana. I have never seen a player that he really loves his mana, apparently. I think it's probably a little bit more justified on Kassadin, but it still seems like a lot of mana to me. It still seems like a lot of mana. He is almost level 16 though. He'll probably be there within the next couple minutes. Mundo, on the other hand, is quite a ways to go still. I mean, he doesn't even have heart still yet. He is having a tragic game in terms of items.
Well, and I think that's just the aspect of taking the Mundo so relatively early, in the sense that you've already and seeing again that the Kog'Maw is up. Like the Kog'Maw had already been taken at that point in the draft, so it was already going to be a little bit difficult for him, and unfortunately, again, just this game, he wasn't able to get the traction that he had in game 1.
Yep. Up to about 6,500 gold lead here for Team BW. No real objectives to play for at the moment, but Baron is coming up again in a minute. Cassidy should be level 16 here and probably 3 or 4 more waves, but it's not going to be on time for Baron. I think they probably just have to give it again. I mean, maybe they can pull off another Miracle Steal with Lilia, but I don't think they're even going to let him get close to the Baron pit this time.
And this is always the danger in regards to scaling comps. You saw again in game 1 that, BW was able to have that point, where they were able to get some scaling. As again, looks like, again, Urgot potentially could get caught here.
Yep. And he's going to go ahead and go... Oh, he's going to go ahead and go down, and that's going to be cast at level 16. He barely survives, but he gets it. Meanwhile, Zenzal going wild over here. And one thing I didn't really think of before, but Malzahar is great jungle insurance because, if they try to steal, you just Malz ult them and you can't smite while you're suppressed, right? I'm a little surprised that didn't come into play over here at this Dragon play. I feel like, Lilia gets ult or suppressed over here when she goes in. That play doesn't happen, and maybe the game looks very different, but. Now BW is looking for a death bush because they know that HH doesn't have vision. And they're just kind of hoping somebody will walk into him, and it's about to happen. There it is. That was a very unnecessary Malzahar ulti, I think. But they did get him. So if there's one person to kind of questionably use the ult on right before Baron, it is the jungler. So they did get him, and they're going to kill it super fast as that Kog'Maw... That Kog'Maw does the deeps. That's going to be another free Baron over to Team BW. And then they've got the Dragon Soul coming up in 30 seconds as well, and I don't think there's any way HH can contest this one.
Relatively easy soul take there. No surprise, no shock. So
yeah, nothing HH could do to try to stop that one. I mean, they got lucky last time, but there was nothing. There was no opening that time. So I don't know how much value you really get out of Winsol on this team. I do think it's kind of funny. Malzahar obviously gets basically no value other than just moving faster on the map. Zen will get decent value. Kog'Maw, not so much. Urgot, maybe. I'm not 100% sure how that works for Urgot. Does the initial cast proc it? I'd assume.
Yeah.
I don't know. They do catch the Urgot out again. He's kind of had bad luck trying to side lane. He's kind of got caught out repeatedly. And it's going to be another kill going for the Kassadin. He's finally got enough mana. Oh, he's building other items now. He's finally been satisfied. Yeah, I mean... ooh, okay. And Blitzsprite kind of goes for the Malzahar, but Malzahar says, no, you, and presses all his buttons on him and kills him. So, is he going to get him? Yeah, he's going to get him, too.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, you might be a late-game Kassadin, but you're not tanky. Like, you already used your shield earlier. And Mal's, he built normal build this time. He's got the deeps to kill you before you kill him with the ultis, so... Oh, that's going to be a nice ulti there by Fiddlesticks, but there just isn't... I was going to say, there isn't a ton of follow-up here, but there's enough. Lilia doing tons of damage here. Ooh, she's going to go down anyway? Nope, Lulu is able to escape. But Malzahar does go down. Meanwhile, the rest of BW is kind of pushing other lanes. That was a very nice combo there by Lilia and Fiddlesticks, but in the end, that only really saved one of the 3 lanes, I think.
Well, and through that, you see how Vivian and Layla have that combo that, again, can work, and there is that level of synergy. The number one thing I was looking at, when we were talking about the draft there, is I was sitting there going, like, how nice would that Jhin be if that Jhin was an MF that was taken early, going, okay, like, we're looking at, Lily as a potential threat for even further synergy? Because, again, that was one of my things. I don't know if Butterito plays MF, but I was like, okay, well, if that was what I was looking for. But
yeah, so far the Jhin doesn't really seem to contribute a whole lot. So even just beyond the team pick synergy, it hasn't really done much, period, this game. So, and that is the downside of going this kind of build on Jhin, is that if you fall behind, you do no damage. So, and he is definitely what we would call it behind. He's down 3,500 gold to Kog'Maw. Not what you're looking for. And poor Mundo. 9,000 gold at 32 minutes. That is tragic. And I don't know if there's any, like, even once he gets level 16, I still don't think he's going to be able to tank for very long. Just because just a sheer amount of damage coming out from the BW team comp. And so far, BW seems pretty content to just kind of wait for more big objectives to come up and not try to force anything, which is probably the smart play. I think this game would need to go at least another 10 minutes for HH to really stand a good chance. And that's tough when they're probably one lost team fight away from losing the game altogether, because they don't have a lot left.
Well, and you're in this dangerous position where, again, I'm not like with that Elder coming up, given again that they're up, almost like 8K. We're getting to that point where, do you have to sacrifice Vivian if hypothetically that Elder is up? Like, it's a dangerous and precarious position that HH is in, especially for the next 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. And you've got both Baron and Elder coming up, and it's always hard to tell what to do in that situation when you're the team that's behind, right? When you're the team that's ahead, it's obvious. You just pressure the one that's closer and make them do something to stop you. But how you respond to that, I don't think HH has the best Baron clear, so even if they try to trade, I'm not sure they could do it in time. We'll say Mundo is level 16 now. That is something. He still has no MR, though, which is not great. Yeah, and BW says we're just going to rush Baron on spawn. Leave Urgot bot to threaten with TP up. Well, almost up. And yeah, HH just does not have enough together to really do anything about this. And there says, all right, that was easy. We're going to go do Elder now. And do the same thing. Yeah, and I know HH is very hesitant to try to do something bad and lose the game, but I think they have to try to do something here. Like, they can't just let BW grab everything and then walk into the base. But it might be too little too late.
Such is the
Especially
case. You're
with
just
Fiddle
getting
and-
lost left.
Oh, God, this is so confusing. All of these fake Fiddle icons on the map. Fiddle comes in, only able to get one person though, and meanwhile Lilia is kind of around here on the back, goes down to the Kog'Maw, and BW is just going in, and the Zen Zhao is just doing the same thing he did last game. He's just going into the backline completely uncontested, and that's going to be it. That's going to be the series. That's well done to Team BW. They held out that crazy game 1 with 52 minutes. And then in game 2, they took care of business before this HH comp could scale. And yeah, it kind of got the late game, but it was too, they got the early dragons, they got all the objectives they wanted, and they had a comp that scaled pretty well themselves. So they were able to just win some decisive fights in the mid game, get all the objectives they needed. And yeah, able to put them away. So that's going to be a 2-0 for BW, and that now makes the playoff picture very interesting going forward, because that means that, if I understand correctly, BW, HH, ABW, and KGB are all going to be tied for 3 wins. And are any of them playing on Sunday? I don't remember which teams are playing. ABW. Oh, yeah, there you go. ABW versus KGB are the other 2 3-win teams are playing on Sunday. So that means there will be 3 3-win teams at the end of the week, which means there will be some tiebreaker shenanigans coming next week. I'm going to leave that one up to the admins to figure out the details on that one. I'm glad I don't have to. But we're going to have some extra league action this week, at least one tiebreaker game. So I have no idea how they're gonna figure that all out. But yeah, well played, Team BW. And wow, those are really lopsided. I don't know if can you see that? I actually don't know if you can see that,
Yep.
but those are very lopsided damage charts in favor of BW. Like, my goodness.
Absolutely.
They just did way more damage across the board. Yeah, I mean, 12,000 damage on Kassadin. Yeah, it's just not quite online yet. So, and Lilia did well, but she can't do everything. So, yeah, the Lulu damage carry, right? Pretty good Lulu damage. Well done, Trash Can. But yeah, well done to Team BW. They kept themselves alive in the thick of the playoff hunt, and they're gonna have to figure out what they need to do next week to make it in. But it's a fun cast, and I think that'll be it. Next game's on Sunday: ABW versus KGB at 8:30 Central. So look forward to that in a few days. And thanks for watching. Right, bye.
Take care. Have a good night, everybody.